So before you move on to the next step, you need to check a few things. Number one, is it all colored in? Number two, is there absolutely no white showing? And number three, make sure that if you crossed a line that you changed colors, like if they share a side, they should not be the same color. If they are, you can just color over one of them, darker with a different color. Since it's colored pencil, you can try to erase. Some of the colored pencils are erasable. But if you're all colored in, you're ready for the next step. So now we're ready for that lizard. And I have the stencil, and yeah, he doesn't quite have a tail yet, but we're gonna fix that in a minute. I'm actually gonna use the back so that I don't get any pencil lines on the front. And I'm just going to put him, you can have him straight, you could turn him on the side, whatever you want. He can even be over on the edge. I'm gonna put mine in the middle, diagonal, and I'm just gonna trace. If you wanna change the shape a little bit, that's fine. Normally in 4th grade, we don't use stencils, but just to make it easier for you, because I'm not really worried if you can draw a lizard or not. I have these for you. Okay, so the tail is where you kind of have to customize it. You don't want to make the tail too long. You could just go to a straight point, or if you want, it can bend. Up to you. So I'm gonna go with the bent tail. And now I'm ready to cut it out. Super important when you cut. As soon as your scissors touch that lizard, they cannot go off the line. So now I have to turn my paper or my scissors. I don't want any scraps, and I don't want to go off the paper again. So if I miss a line, I'm just going to keep cutting. So like here, I might be tempted to keep cutting towards the edge, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep my scissors on the line. I'm going to take this tape off this pair of scissors. And it might not be perfect because it is a little tricky cutting out this giant paper without letting your scissors leave the line, but that's okay. It'll still look like a lizard. Okay, so when you cut it out, you should have a whole scrap with just one cut through it, and then your lizard. We're gonna put the lizard aside. To get your background paper, right to the left here of my desk is my paper cart. You're gonna wanna choose a paper from the left row. If there's a color you see on the right, like let's say you want this bright green and it's not here, let me know and I will cut you a piece. And that's where you get your paper. And you need a colored piece of paper to put in the negative space. So I'm actually going to flip it over, and I want to make sure I cover my lizard, and I'm actually going to cover as much of my cut as I can because that's going to help hold it together. I can't go all the way because I don't want my lizard showing through, but I can go like that. If you can't cover your whole lizard with one piece of paper, let me know. So now I know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to take the glue, and notice I'm going to put the glue on the back of my paper here, right around the border of my lizard. I'm gonna make sure it's held together, and I'm gonna lay my paper on the glue. I might miss a little bit in some places, but that's okay. The places I did miss, I'm gonna just wipe with a paper towel so I don't glue my paper to my table. And this is still the back, so it's not really that big of a deal. This is really a great time to get your name on the back. And when I flip it over, I have my lizard with the negative space as my colored paper. So now I need to get my camouflage lizard in there, and I definitely do not just want to glue it right in place because then you just really won't be able to see it. And we actually want him to be sort of three-dimensional. So what I'm going to do is fold him. I'm going to move this so you can see a little better. Fold this vertically. Doesn't have to be perfectly in half, but pretty close. I'm not going to worry about the tail because my tail isn't symmetrical, so that he can stand like that. Here's another view of him standing, so you can see three-dimensional. So to get him to stand up in his spot, I'm going to put just 4 dots of glue where his feet go. And his feet cannot go exactly in the spot, so I'm going to leave some of the red paper showing. And then it's kind of tricky to get him in there at first, but once you do, you can, while your glue is wet, you can scooch him up a little bit so he's standing up more. But as you can see, I can see the red paper. I don't want to flatten him and glue him flat because again, then you won't be able to see him. If he's going to be three-dimensional, he's got to be standing up, which means he won't fit exactly in the shape. And you kind of just hold down your 4 feet until he can hold himself up, and then it's finished. And here he is from the side.